Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman Mazda Hyundai, and Worth the Poor. I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! I'm getting excited. We are in the day of Draft Night Eve. 1 day away from football Christmas is what I like to call it every year, and I'm starting to get really excited. Been talking to Foots, been talking to Zach and the fellas, putting together a good show for y'all this weekend, and just as a football junkie, I'm getting excited, man. And as we know, every year, Dallas Cowboys hold a press conference, a draft press conference the day or 2 days before the draft. So we'll touch on a few of those things that were said, because in between the laughs, right, in between some of the comments that made you roll your eyes, there was something interesting that I took away from the draft press conference, and I think that it could shock Cowboys Nation tomorrow. I can't believe I'm saying it tomorrow. Tomorrow's a draft. Just unbelievable. Also, later today in the show, the meat and potatoes of the show, I got 3 position groups we'll talk about, and we're going to play a little
buy or sell.
I'll play a little buy or sell. I'm going to ask you guys, do you buy or do you sell those position groups being strengths of this team heading into the draft, man? Good show lined up for y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Again, in the back when that music was playing, I was back there jamming, just getting excited for this draft week, weekend. Really ready for it, man. I really am. And we're going to continue to work at it today. We're going to continue to work at it tomorrow, all the way up until we'll probably come on about 8:30 or so p.m. Eastern, 7:30 or so Central. I'm excited, man. I can't wait. Shout out to my brother from another, Lee, in the building. Says, love you, bro. So proud of you. So talented, but I knew you'd be dope at what you do just from the conversations that we had. Y'all have no idea, man. The dungeon is legendary. Honestly, this kind of festered there. You know what I mean? We used to talk about this all the time, and I told him, I was gonna do this, through hell or high water, as Eli would say from Scandal. Through hell or high water, God damn it, I'm gonna do it. So shout out to my guy Lee. Get some more shout outs. Toxic Tom in the building. Samuel Rowe, Mom Dukes, Roberto Ramirez, Chase Washington, Adam Mack, Twan in the building was good. Professor O, C. Burleson, Captain America was good. Derek Fisher, Dre Val, John Williams, AJ Torres, Tony Simmons, Carlton, what's up? Wyland Webster, Antoine Swain. We got a bunch of Twans in this community. A bunch of Twans. Asmodeus, what's up? Grant Rain, H2O. Over on Facebook, Robert Shook, CJ Richards, Nicholas P. Who else we got here? Jason Ted Russell, and Chuck P in the building. Salute to y'all. If y'all missed the show today, run this thing back on all the podcast platforms. We are finally up and running full strength on the podcast platforms. In fact, for those that are into the Dallas Mavericks, we get a lot of calls about the Mavericks. Shout out to my guy Los. We finally started our Mavericks podcast for the playoffs. Our guy Ian does a great job with that, so make sure y'all hit that up. Or hit up A to Z Sports Dallas. He writes about the Mavericks too. I'm not a Mavericks fan, but I need to start getting into them because I'm down here in Dallas.
Super chat.
We got a super chat. Shout out to my guy Toxic Tom Downey, burner account. Says, Sky, I swear Jerry always has an excuse. That press conference showed how toxic the leadership is and how they would throw anyone under the bus. I mean, we're going to talk about some of the things. I'm not going to get too into it. I'm going to talk about some of the notes that I took away. But boy, Jerry getting up there in age, man. I don't think he realizes half the things he says sometimes. He doesn't realize he contradicts himself. I don't know if he realizes we can see. We synced it. We know what you've done, and we know what you said and did or didn't do. So you can't really fool us anymore. So I don't know. That's just Jerry for you, brother. That's just Jerry for you. Professor O, shameless plug, just dropped my top 100 board on Twitter. If you want to check it out after the show, make sure y'all check that out. I believe it's Professor O on Twitter. Drop your handle in there, Professor O. I don't want to get your handle wrong, but I'm definitely going to go check that out. I might even use it on the show tomorrow. I just hit up Foots. He's going to give me his big board. We'll talk about his big board as well. So, man, a lot of good stuff ready and rolling for the draft this weekend. So let's get ready and roll into this roundup, which is basically the presser. So we'll review not the whole presser, but some of the notes that I took away from it.
It's about that time.
It's time! It's time!
It's time!
It's time!
It's time.
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Yes, indeed. The morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Strive for progress, not perfection. Fitness goals are not accomplished with one workout. Got to progress towards your goals with TFF. More than just a fitness club, we provide the tools, support, and resources you need to achieve your goals. So check out any of the 13 different locations in the DFW area, or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. And if you do, let them know we sent you. I didn't know where to begin, so I'm just going to start from the top of the presser all the way down. I listened to the whole thing live. It was a lot of times I was rolling my damn eyes, not going to lie to you. But I don't want to – we talk enough about half of the bullcrap they say, and we'll talk about some of it here, but there were some good notes. Starting off the presser, they asked Jerry about Kelvin Joseph, and he was very PC, which, I mean, that's just how it's going to be. So Jerry basically stated the Cowboys will not make a disciplinary decision on Kelvin Joseph, leaving that up to the league and the authorities. To me, I took away that they're not going to suspend him on their own merit. Everything is everything when it comes to Kelvin Joseph. They'll let the league deal with it. And until otherwise, he's going to be a part of off-season programs. He's going to be a part of preseason if we get to that point in the season, if he's not dealt with by the league or the authorities in that aspect. So Jerry did a good job dodging all that. And he said, listen, I know as much as y'all know, which I think that's bull, but he literally said, I only know what I've read. So that's where they kind of stand on the Kelvin Joseph situation. They followed up with, well, does this situation affect the cornerback strategy in the draft? He said no, and it got quiet. And the reporter said, well, can you know why? He said, because I said so. Hey, that's his subjects.
Our subjects.
When you're Jerry's subjects, you can't. If he says, that's what he says. That's it. So here's where I thought things got interesting. Listening to, and I know it's Stephen Jones. So he said that the draft is heavy in the middle of the draft, rounds 3 through 5, and I think most draft pundits would agree, and we've been hearing them say that over the last couple months. He said the first and second rounds are a little more thin than usual, and the strength of the draft is rounds 3 through 5. He said there's about 14 to 16 players that they have first round grades on, which he said, again, was a little lower than usual. I had this conversation with Foots yesterday. I'm starting to get a sense, if I had to make an educated guess, Sky, what do you think they'll do? Trade up, trade down, stay there. I think they want to stay there, but I'm starting to get a sense that they could be trading up in this draft. You usually don't hear them just come out. When it's that low, I wouldn't have said nothing, me personally. I wouldn't have said, hey, yo, it's very thin at the top. We're not sure what we're going to do there. It's very heavy in the middle of the draft. So I've had to think about it, listening to them a couple weeks ago, listening to them a month ago. Will McClay talking about there's more drafted players than ever. Steven now 3 different times talking about how it's a deep class. The middle of the class is deep. The top is pretty thin. And then they've asked them a bunch about trading up. They never shot it down. Obviously, you don't do that. But just kind of just reading in between the lines, I do think if their guy is there, they'll trade up. I think they'll get froggy and they'll jump. Do I necessarily agree with that? Nah. But I'm basing it off of what they said. And here's why I think that. If you get to about that 15 area where we were trading up in the mock drafts, if you get to 15, 16, 17, hell, maybe even 12 if you're willing to part with your second. If you get to that area and it does cost you a second or third, it sounds like Steven and those guys are comfortable punting on the second or third round because the draft is deep in the middle. So if they can go up and get their guy in round 1, they feel like, hey, in rounds 3, 4, and 5, we'll still be fine. But Scott, who would they trade up for? Well, let's just kind of try to read the tea leaves as best as we can. Charles Cross, right? We know they want a tackle of the future that can play guard. I don't know if Charles Cross can do that, My man Vosh said he doesn't think so. Y'all can let me know. I'm not sure, but I do think Cross will be a guy. If he can't play guard right away, then you boot Terrence Steele back to a swing tackle, and he's your right tackle of the future until Tyron retires. We just heard about Thibodeau, defense end. If he starts to get in that range to trade up, I could see them do it. Me personally would love it to be a guy like Davis, but I don't think they'll do that, so I won't put him in this range. Now, he did come in for a 30 visit, so it's not out of the question, but I just don't see him trading up for a defensive tackle. That's not their MO. Here's one that's very interesting. Bobby Belt said that they are absolutely in love with wide receiver Drake London. I like about 4 or 5. I like all these first-round wide receivers. I am a little bit surprised that they'd be willing to trade up for Drake London because of how deep the receiver class is. How y'all feel about that? Dallas trades up for a receiver. That would definitely be a shocker to me. I like Drake. I mean, there's people who don't, he's slow and all that stuff. You know, listen, speed's not everything at the wide receiver position. He's a physical freak. In the sense that I call Michael Gallup the jump balls 50-50, I don't call it 50-50. I call it 100-0 because I feel like Gallup can go up and get the rock all the time. I feel that same way about Drake. He's your prototypical possession type dude, a reliable type guy that would be for Dak at that position. But I don't see the need to really trade up for a wide receiver. So that'll be interesting. If they're willing to give up a day 2 pick, meaning probably a second, like Drake, if Drake London falls to 15 or so, maybe you'll be able to go up without giving up a second. But if you're trying to come up for a guy in the top 12, you're likely giving up a second-round pick. And maybe more. You know, last year we saw the Giants trade back from, what was it, 13 to 21? It might have been more. But the Bears gave up an extra first. Now, that was for a quarterback, but still. Got to be careful how much you give up there. And you do got to be careful about the smoke. But that's kind of where I'm seeing it at. Cross, Thibodeau, and if they really do love Drake, I guess Drake London. What else happened in that press conference? Stephen Jones talked about there's more than one way to do this right in regards to the draft. I find that ironic because he doesn't have that same mindset in free agency. Jerry Jones also talked about the edge rushers, Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler, stating that he'd rather have 2 than 1 in regards to Randy Gregory, and talked about, the availability with Randy. That was an issue, and we just didn't want to. He said the Denver Broncos wanted him more. Jerry, you do know that we saw you offered him a 5-year, $70 million deal, right, Jerry? You do know that. So clearly you wanted the 1 over the 2, but the 1 didn't want you. Bars. That's all that is, Jerry. I get it, man. It's been cycle time. It's time to say, listen, we didn't want him. We got our guys. But the guy you really wanted was a guy you offered $70 million to. Okay? He didn't stop you from signing a Dorrance Armstrong or Dante Fowler. Cut it out. All right? What else did Jerry say I thought was funny? He said, I used to have a sign on my desk, if you're willing to give others credit, you can conquer the world.
Bruh.
Excuse me, sir? Clearly that sign is not on your desk no more, Jerry. Because if that was the case, you'd have a real general manager doing things here. Some good stuff here. McCarthy said that the team had 100% participation in the voluntary workout program. You love to hear that. And then Stephen Jones said, there are no must for this team as they entered the draft. Oh, really? There are no musts for the team as they enter the draft. I disagree, but we'll take a look. Since he says there's no must, I want to look at some of the strengths of this team where I don't think they have to take a guy early in the draft. They don't have to. That doesn't mean if there's value there, they don't do it, but I want to get your temperature on these positions too. So that is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. K. Jackson said, irony, a whole lot. There was a whole lot of contradicting and ironic statements in that press conference. And I know it's very, very easy to get on Catboy, and Jerry. It's easy. They make it easy. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at content creators. Don't get mad at Twitter because Jerry Jones is in the Joneses. Make it easy to make fun of them. Don't be mad. Just take it, just like they do. Randy Gregory fired some shots back. He called him a scorned owner. And Taco Charlton also fired some shots back because there was a joke. I thought this was the funniest part of the press conference. He was like, when it comes to decision making, Steven, that was his call on Taco, and Michael Parsons was my call on in the draft. Now, obviously, he's playing around, he's joking, but that was the funniest moment of that draft yesterday. And Dro said that man throws his own son under the bus. He do, lightheartedly, but he, it's so weird. When I used to have a sign on my desk, if you're willing to give others credit, you can conquer the world. Why would you tell us that? Because it's clear you don't. He said something in his press conference about, I like to either A, make those around me believe they're making the decisions, and or allow others around me to make the decisions. It's not just me. Jerry, which one is it, bruh? He said, this is how it's always been. I always have allowed others around me to make the decisions, and then we go with it. And if you listen to Brian Broaddus and guys like that, that's kind of true when it comes to the draft. It's not just Jerry end all be all. Everybody has an input. But then he contradicted himself and said, well, I also like to make them think they're making a decision, and then it comes down to me. Just shut up. Just shut up. That's all I'm asking.
Shut up. Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else.
Just be quiet, man. Honestly, I was a little bit disappointed they didn't have McClay out there. That's why I really want to hear talk. Now, you'll hear McClay after the draft. You'll hear Dan Quinn after the draft. But I really wanted McClay out there. They had my guy McCarthy. Oh, man, did y'all see the picture? Let me pull the picture back up. Well, this is a good one. But they had my guy Mike McCarthy. Mike be looking... Mike be looking like he ain't got no neck. He was looking like a hostage in there. Like, for him to turn, he got to turn his whole body. Well, just come on, send Mike home. He don't need to be there, man. What he got to say does not matter. It don't. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. I'd rather you put Will McClay in the middle. Let us listen to what Will McClay got to say. All right? What y'all talk about in here? Asmodeus said, Jerry's just all over the place. He really was. Tony Simmons, trading up Stephen Jones' idea, trading back Will or JJ's idea, in my opinion. Interesting you say that would be Jerry's idea to trade back. He talked about the whole Wildcat and Jerry thing. He said he's less conservative than he's been, which is true, and that's a lot to do with Stephen Jones. But he also talked about how he's less risky. He's less risky with character concerns players. But my guy just took Kelvin Joseph last year. Huh? Okay, dog. Okay. Whatever you say. Sky, I need you to clip the I don't think it's that funny audio from Steven. Yeah, he did say that about the taco thing. Listen, it's lighthearted stuff. Have fun with it. But boy, this organization is ran differently. Steven said that it was an advantage to have Jerry Jones as the owner and general manager because they can make aggressive decisions much sooner. It's an advantage. Okay. All right, now. Somebody just said something about where'd you go? Adam, he's just letting us know he's not trying to conquer the world. Very true. Very true. All right, let's get to this week's Ride of the Week, and then we'll head into our first part of the show, which is the first group that I want to buy or sell as a strength going into the draft. But this week's Ride of the Week, Freeman Mazda Ride of the Week, is the 2022 Mazda CX-9 Touring, which is the high-end model, combining a handsome exterior, a near luxury interior, and a surprisingly fun-to-drive nature. The 2022 Mazda CX-9 is the 3-row crossover for modern-day buyers. And the selling point for the Touring, which again is the higher-end model, is starting at $39,000. It got the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the 3rd-row seating for those bigger families, if you got pets and whatnot, the adaptive cruise control, all-wheel drive, gotta love the all-wheel drive, rain-sensing wipers, the backup camera, all that good stuff that you need for this modern-day driver. So check out freemanmazda.net or head on over to Freeman Mazda in Irving, Texas for more information on this week's Ride of the Week, which is the 2022 Mazda CX-9 Touring.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions.
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Somebody in the chat said, why is Randy Gregory watching the Cowboys? Let me tell you something. Randy's not watching the draft presser. Randy responded to a tweet. Now, what he is watching is Twitter. These athletes nowadays, they all on Twitter. I told Randy, I hit him up. I responded. I said, hey, dog, whenever you're ready to tell your story, come on over. But until then, man, kill it over there in Denver. I am rooting for Randy Gregory. I mean, his story is a story of one of perseverance. So whether he succeeds or fails, I'm rooting for him over there until he plays Dallas. Then, yeah, I ain't really rooting for him. Play the Cowboys. So people are upset about Taco responding. And his response was lighthearted. He did the meme where, I forget who the actor was, but he was crying with the money and things like that. How much money is Taco really making? I don't know, but he's making more money than me, so I ain't got nothing to say about that. All right, so let's get into the first part of this show. Buy or sell the strength or strengths going into this draft. One thing we haven't really talked about a ton is what is the strengths, right? We know that, in my opinion, I mean, there's some people that may disagree. Oh, Stephen Jones, Cowboys don't have needs. The Cowboys, BPA, maybe they're BPA because they got so many goddamn on needs. But here's my thing about what they do need. I think they lost a ton of depth at wide, or they lost depth at wide receiver, a ton of depth on the offensive line. I guess you can argue there's a question mark at 2 starting spots up there. I don't think they have a 1 tech. There's not depth at linebacker. And if you want to get to future things, you're looking at defensive end as well, potentially being something that could be argued about not having depth for the future. And that brings me to the very first one. Buy or sell.
Buy or sell.
Defensive end being a strength heading into the draft. I went back and forth on this one. And here are the defensive ends currently on this team. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence, that helps you a lot, right? Dante Fowler was signed to a 1-year deal. Terrell Basham is still around on a 1-year deal. And Dorrance Armstrong was brought back on a 2-year deal, which was after a career year. I went back and forth on this one. And I'm going to kind of not contradict. I'm going to be a devil's advocate to myself or cheat in this one. I'm actually going to sell this being a strength. I'm going to sell it. And by the way, y'all, we're talking about 2022 season, and we're talking about going into the draft. I'm selling it, but that doesn't mean I'm down on it. Because, like I said, I think Fowler is actually going to be, I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to have solid contributions to this team. I don't think they upgraded, though. And I cannot contradict myself. If I say you're not getting better, you're getting worse, right? I don't think they got better. I think they've maintained. So that's why I'm actually going to sell it. But if you ask me, well, Scott, buy or sell the pass rush being a strength, and the pass rush includes Micah Parsons, well, then I'm going to say buy. I'm going to say buy. But we're just strictly talking about the defensive ends. So I'm actually going to sell that unit being a strength. Let me look into the chat, see what y'all got. Swain said even kill, sell, Asmodeus, sell, prime time. Let me pull y'all up here. Boom. Dro, sell. Only proven is D Law, and that's scary because he's been hurt. I think I'd say Fowler is proven, but it seemed like he's going down in his career, right? I think Armstrong is proven to be a depth guy. Is he proven to be a starter? I don't believe in that. I didn't have Golston up there. My apologies. I don't believe I had Golston up there. So add Golston in that too. Sell Adam Mack, buy Professor O, sell Creative Genius, sell Gregory, sell AJ, Tino, sell B Bird. It's an interesting one because it depends how you look at it. See, I don't look at it as an upgrade, so I think that's why I'm selling it. But on the other hand, if we're talking about just of this team, technically it is one of the strengths of this team. Across the league, it's probably on the lower end of the spectrum, probably outside the top half of the league, if we're talking about in totality. So that's why I wanted to use this one with you guys and see how y'all felt about it. We got our guy B Bird in the house. What's good, OG?
Hey, what's up, Scott? How you doing this morning, man?
I'm good. It's Christmas Eve in a sense, so I'm excited, bro.
Yeah, man. So, of course, Stephen and Jerry had a press conference, so I had some things to say about it. So, if you don't mind. So,
by all means, go ahead.
After Jimmy's first Super Bowl, he was asked, hey, will your 93 team be as good as your 92 team? And he said, no, they don't have to be. They just got to be better than everybody else in the league. And so that always amazed me because that was a great answer. He's right about that. You don't have to be, better than you was before. As long as you're better than everybody else, you'll still win a Super Bowl. And, of course, they did win a Super Bowl again. So one of the things that I think naturally what happens is what should go on is you go 12-5, you get beat by 49ers, and what competent front offices do is say, okay, what do we need? Who do we need to compete against? Well, it should be the Rams, Tampa Bay, or Green Bay.
And San Fran.
Those three.
San Fran is still
and San
up there.
Fran, yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, those teams, those are the ones that's your aim. But then every offseason move to draft, free agency, going back over your schemes to see if they're appropriate for what you're doing, all those should be aimed with those in mind. But the way I look at it, man, is they are aiming to beat Washington, Philadelphia, New York, if you really think about it. So if you think about how when they asked Jimmy, do I have to be as good as I was if you ask Steven, do I have to be as good as I was last year? And he says, no, I just got to be better than Washington, Philadelphia, and New York. That's just not going to get us to where we are. Because if you look at, we're losing players, and we still probably will win the East. But I don't think that that's enough to get us to the promised land. And I think that's what it is. I think what they're trying to run a business, man, with a 20-year plan, and we just have no urgency in the front office, man. And when they're up in the front, it just irks me, man, because I think these guys they love their celebrity status. They love to be in front of the camera, and they definitely want all the credit, man. But I just called to tell you this event a little bit, man. I just don't think that our goals and their goals are lining up at all. And I don't know if you're seeing that also.
I absolutely. I thought they had a very great opportunity to show sense of urgency, right? to show that I really am pissed off of how the season finished, to let me build on top of that. And they didn't do it. And that just is what it is. No matter how optimistic you are about this team, they didn't build on top of last year just yet. There's obviously still time. The season don't start till September. But as we stand right here in April 27th, this team did not build on top of it. It's definitely counting on the Young Bucks to take a massive leap. And that's cool. Like you obviously should count on that. But if you really look at how the league operates, that is kind of a flawed strategy, because expecting whole ass draft classes to perform, above expectation without adding proven impact players in free agency is a risky way to go about it. And I don't recall too many teams that have done that over the last half decade.
So one of the things I want to talk about, and you've heard of the adage, scared money don't make money, correct?
Scared money don't make no money.
So what that is you really think about what that says is, I've been in that situation at a gambling table before. I didn't really know how to play blackjack. I'm out there, and so next thing you know, I'm down to my last money, right? So I can split. I should split. This is what the rules say, but I don't have I'm afraid if I lose all my money, I'm out. I think what what they do, man, is they're so afraid to make a mistake that they just they do nothing, man, and they're afraid of the consequences for it. But you can't play that position or be in that position and be afraid. You have to have some gambler in you. You have to have some, we just don't have that in the front office, man. It's just too much comfortability up there.
You cannot, in order to be great, I think, at anything, you cannot be afraid to fail. I actually think you have to. I think you have to fail sometimes, and sometimes you fail massively, so that you can know what not to do next time. I just think Steven and this team as it stands, we say Steven because we really believe he's the guy, as it stands, is afraid to fail. And if you're always going to be afraid to fail, then you're going to be hedging bets. You're going to kind of just be middling, and depending on who's at the top. If you're a guy that doesn't want to be a middling guy, then what you're going to do is everything in your power to not be middling and be the best. Or if you're a guy that is content with being, hey, I'm okay, I'm getting by, we're good, you're never, ever going to take that next step, that risk factor in life or in building a business or what have you, to be the best, right? You're just content with being all right. And, it feels like they cool with that.
Yeah. And, man, that's all I had, Scott. I just wanted to vent a little bit about Steven, man. He's bane of my existence at this point in time. Hey. I'm going to continue to listen to the show, man. I appreciate everything you bring, brother.
Appreciate you, B-Bird. Man, there was a comment in here, but it was way up. I'll try to find it. Okay, so Toxic, speaking on our buy or sell, he says, Sky, are we buying or selling for the unit, right? And if it will perform better or worse than we anticipate come season's end? Yeah, I guess I didn't get specific, right? I just used the word strength. Is it a strength? That's probably too general, because if we're being honest, it's likely a strength of the team. I don't know if that's saying a whole lot. So maybe I should have been a little bit more specific on that one. But I'm still going to go sell, but I could be talked into it. Really, because, I do like the prospects of Dante Fowler. Another person said Dante Fowler is the only guy to be on the Super Bowl team. Is anybody else on the roster like that? Well, let me tell you, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, aside from Mike McCarthy and maybe some assistants, how many players on the team have won the Super Bowl? I've always thought that was interesting that the Cowboys don't bring in more of those guys. Do we even have one? They brought in Malcolm Smith in the middle of the year a couple seasons ago, but in the Bennett character, Michael Bennett, but I don't think the Cowboys have a Super Bowl winning player on the team. JT the Pipe Layer says, Sky, they should go ahead and lock up Diggs already. Well, after this year, they have the opportunity to do just that. They can lock up Diggs. They can lock up Lamb, which, again, I'd wait on Lamb because unless he just, if Lamb goes off 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, get ahead of this thing because we see these prices going crazy. But again, let me just jump ahead. If they trade up for Drake London, if they take Jamison Williams falls, Traylon Burks, I'm just saying, in 2 years, maybe even next year, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, somebody's going to be on a chopping block. I'm just saying. Christian Rodriguez, come on, man. Don't do that to Mark Holmes, brother. But I appreciate you for buying A to Z Sports. But come on, man. All right, let's get to my second buy or sell. All right, Cowboys Nation, let me know.
Buy or sell.
Buy or sell the defensive backs being a strength of this team. I actually buy this one. And I know you could say, well, isn't this similar to defensive ends? Kind of, because they didn't lose really anything. The defensive ends lost Randy Gregory, and I don't want to put Randy Gregory on a pedestal like he's the greatest defensive end of all time. No, I ain't saying that. He was, I think, hyper active when he played, right? But he's not the best defensive end in the league or anything like that. I'm actually buying this one because I think they've got multiple studs. Curse, I think, is a Pro Bowl player. At least he was last year. Diggs was an all-pro. I think now that Malik Hooker is your guy, that changes things. Malik Hooker didn't become a guy part of the rotation until about a quarter way into the season. Malik Hooker's just starting safety now. And I think Malik Hooker is going to be a fine one, barring injury. And now Dono is my de facto wide receiver. My de facto safety 3 to come in and be a kamikaze missile. I don't got to put a bunch of snaps on Dono. I love that. And then when it comes to the rest of the cornerbacks, I know y'all hate AB. But I think if AB can just be what he was last year, I'll live with that. We saw Jay Lou play better. AB play better. I think what could really propel this unit, though, and I know this is the big one right here, and that's Boss Man Fat. I have no idea what's going to happen. But if he's able to play, if he is humbled, if this turns on a light for him from a football standpoint, he could really help propel this unit. So I'm actually going to go with buy. Let me see what y'all talking about here. Dro, buy. Swain, buy. CJ and Russ, Toxic, JP, Creative, all buying. Kavarius is buying. That guy says, I'd buy Diggs. Well, what about Curse and Hooker? Now, I'm giving y'all bigger names. Gregory says, buy-ish. Professor O is buying. Nicholas P is buying because we can't pressure up front, takes off the DBs. Because we can put pressure up front, takes off the DBs. Okay. I give our DBs about a B- grade. What we're going to do after the draft, like probably a week or two after about 2 weeks after the draft, we'll do an entire unit review. We're going to break down all these guys. Once we get our drafted guys in here, maybe some more free agents, we're going to do our state of the unit. And it might even be more towards the end of spring, early summer, honestly. But we'll grade that type of stuff too later. Charles Budd, buy. Kendrick said, Joseph, that's the thing, right? Kelvin Joseph is, like, I'm buying this one, but if Kelvin Joseph plays and he's year 2, he's the guy, I'm buying this one twice, right? Like, this is an easy buy. Interesting you say that, Toxic Time. I'm about to roll that one up. Tony says Hooker re-sign makes me buy. Honestly, that Hooker and Curse obviously being back puts me into the buy category. J-Ron's my guy day one. So is Malik Hooker. They weren't our guys day one last year. Joe's talking tight ends. Yeah, we talked a little tight ends yesterday. I don't think there's one special tight end in this draft. I know there's people that are all aboard of the Trey McBride train. He ain't special to me. Like, I'm not knocking Trey. I'm not knocking any of these tight ends. None of them are special. Like, none of them move me that way. Now, they can obviously come in the league and turn into Kelsey, turn into who's the other cat? Kittle. They can. But they're none of this isn't Pitts, right? Like, we're not looking at a Pitts situation. I'm not taking any of these dudes in round 1. Me personally, as a Cowboy fan, I don't want to take one in round 2 either. So I'm looking at 3 at the latest or earliest for a tight end, Joe. So I mean, cool, yeah, take McBride. I don't want to take him in the second round though. Ooh, toxic. That's deep. Cowboy P says Boss Man can go. D Block got love for AB. I agree, Sony. AB was no slouch. Like, he got toasted a few times. There's no doubt about that. You know, he did. I just think as Cowboy fans, Cowboys diehards that don't really watch the rest of the league. We're like, oh, look, Dak Prescott missed a throw. Oh, look, AB got burnt. Oh, look, Trevon Diggs got, double moved. But we don't realize around the league these things are happening and happening at as much as a high rate. So, if AB can continue to improve under the defensive back coaches, it's a win. Russell said, I'd love to get the corner from Cincy. I mean, I think we'd all love a Sauce Gardner, right? We'd all love a Sauce Gardner. Swain, what DB didn't get toast? That's how I'm feeling. Yeah, JT, I won't revisit the whole boss man legal situation because I already gave my opinion on it. I would love for the Cowboys to eventually draw a line at some point. I don't know if it's with boss man. If it is, cool. I'm not going to cry. If it's not, I hope that he can move forward with his life. He's young, 22 years old. I hope he learns from it. I hope he surrounds himself with better friends. He continues to mature and becomes a better person. But at some point, Dallas got to draw the line on these character players. They got to. All right, before I get to number 3, I'm very interested. I hope the other Twan is here. Mr. Wright is in there because I'm very interested to hear this one. How many people believe this group is a strength? But before we do that, let's talk about Worth the Poor. One thing we all can agree on is watching the Cowboys games, talking about the Cowboys. Hell, watching the Cowboys draft can be stressful. Take the edge off of game day. Stop by Worth the Poor in the colony of Texas. Worth the Poor is a family-owned and operated luxury liquor store with affordable prices and a wide variety of wine, spirit, and beer samples available. And for the game day party or draft party that won't end, they even offer liquor deliveries to all of North Texas. So check this out. To make Worth the Poor a part of your game day routine, download the Worth the Poor app. Very easy. We all got apps. We all got phones. The app allows you to schedule orders for delivery and pickup and gives customers access to discount codes for extra savings, such as A to Z Sports. Put in A to Z Sports on the app. You get 5% off any order $20 or more. Download Worth the Poor app today or visit worththepoor.com. Interesting, JT. You said they're looking for the next Charles Haley with those character concerns. I think what it is that's the aggressive part of Jerry Jones, which again he contradicted himself. He said, "Oh well, I'm less aggressive. I'm more conservative when it comes to character guys." No, you're not. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. It's cool. You still enjoy taking risk, especially in the second round. Do we have to talk about Randy Gregory, Jalen Smith, Boss Man Fat? We can go on and on. Greg Hardy. That's not the draft, but you signed Greg Hardy, bro. So you ain't got to lie, my man. All right, here is the final position group. Mind y'all, I think all 3 of these position groups you can argue a buy or sell. That's why I wanted to use these ones. I didn't go wide receiver and things like that because I think that to me that's an easy sell at this point. But this one here is very interesting, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about the running back position.
Buy or sell.
Buy or sell the running back position as a strength heading into the draft. Kind of think this is an easy one, but there's a lot of people that are soured on one of the two backs. See, I'm seeing in the chat here. It's a lot of sell. Interesting. Buy if used correctly. See, this is Kendrick. Sell Ezekiel Elliott. Y'all ain't right. Y'all throwing shots. Buy or sell the running back position being a strength heading into the draft.
Buy or sell.
All right, the buys are coming back. A lot of sells. And honestly, I'm a bit surprised. I'm actually buying this one, Cowboys Nation. You could say there's a caveat to it. You can put an asterisk to it, right? You can do all those things. I can't predict injury. I'm just strictly talking about these guys healthy as it is right now. I still believe, and maybe this could be just Cowboy fan in me. I still believe Zeke and Tony Pollard make a fantastic duo and are a top 5 at the very worst duo in this league. So I actually buy it. A lot of people are selling. My man Lowe said, I'm selling hard on that one. If I had to pick buy, Sean sells it. Chuck P said, I'm pawning it. Cowboy P said, buy. Big Sarge is selling it. I'd love to get a Kareem Hunt. Buy if we run the damn ball, says Scott. Sell only because Zeke got hurt in both backs, maybe in their last year. So, Brian, what I'm getting at here is not last year, right? I'm talking about just going into the draft. We could argue going into the season, but I say draft because they might draft a running back. They might draft a DB. They might draft a defensive end or sign one of these guys. So, we'll revisit the state of the unit later. But just going into the draft, if a lot of you guys are selling it, I wonder how many of you guys would be willing to take a running back in the top 3 rounds. Wayne, buy, no asterisk, top 5 duo. I believe that. I truly do. Toxic says, how the hell do you play a running back with a torn knee over a guy averaging 5 yards per carry? That could be the asterisk, right? Like that could be coaching, front office, whoever's making that call. If we run into that situation again in 2022, I don't really have the words. You know what I mean? Because that was irresponsible last year. That was malpractice. It just made no sense. Jared says, us picking up Null is a sell. That roof. Like, why not bring back Clement? If you wanted a guy that plays special teams, Clement plays special teams. And he gives you pass catching ability out the backfield. And he showed he's a tough runner, too. Clement was an easy bring back unless you were like, we'll just draft a guy. Sell only because of the O-line is not effective. Well, Dre, that's cheating a little bit. I'll allow it, though, because I cheated with the first one. I'm just strictly talking about the unit. We got 518 on the horn. I'm going to get to you in a second. I'm just strictly talking about the unit, though. Yeah, JT, you got the wrong guy here. JT the Pipe says, Sky, why ain't you a fan of Jermaine Johnson? Please explain. Y'all want to tell him? I am a big fan of Jermaine Johnson. Big fan. I think his ceiling, I said this to Vach. I said, Jermaine Johnson's ceiling is so high to me. His floor may be a bit low. I love talking floor ceiling stuff because I think it's very easy to get out to the fan base that, you know, if you're not into the actual intricacies of the position. I think he actually has a bag. I don't think he goes to it a lot. So I think if you get him with the Dan Quinn or a good defense or defensive coach that can say, hey, man, let's work on 2 or 3 moves. Let's work on 1 or 2 counters. I think Jermaine could be a fantastic player. So I like Jermaine Johnson, JT. I'm not sure where I insinuated anything otherwise. Though I like him in a top 5, 10? No, I think that'd be a bit much. Yeah, that's my guy, Vach. That's my guy, Vach. He's not a big Jermaine Johnson guy. All right, let's get to 5 on 8. What you got for us?
Is this we live now?
We are live, man. Who's this?
Okay, it will. How you doing? This is Russell.
What's going on, Russell?
Really, not too much. I really enjoy your show. Great as always.
Thank you, sir.
I always tune in. Hey, just want to touch a little bit on a couple things. That press conference yesterday really aggravates me just so much because think about it. Like he said, that he brought the comment saying that there's a lot of different ways. Like the reporter questioned about the Rams doing it the right way. He said, Steven said, there's a lot of ways to slice up the pie. Well, Steven, hey, it's been 25 years. The way you're doing it, whatever you're doing, is not working.
Right.
It's not working. And this team has to make the next step. I mean, it's got to make the next step this year. I mean, just sitting back and looking at this whole thing, how the offseason is going. And you know what? I'll say to them, yeah, it's not over yet. Free agency's not over yet. Everything's not over yet. I totally agree. We can't really look at the whole roster till the first day of camp. But the thing is, you step back and you look at the Rams. And the previous caller made the comment about those teams. You know, the Rams, the Packers, the Tampa Bay Bucks. All those teams really got, except for the Packers, all the rest really got. I mean, the Buccaneers are going to be tough to deal with. Really, really tough to deal with.
They're my favorites in the NFC right now. Them and the Rams. Brady there. And you know what? Look at our team right now. We really didn't get better yet. And it, like you said, it's kind of a reach than to think that the draft is going to make our team. It's risky to think that's all they do. They don't look at any free agents. Like Bobby Wagner made so much sense to me. Like that pickup right there made so much sense to me. Not so much Von Miller, because I think he's got more tread on the tire than Bobby Wagner. I think he's got more left in him, Bobby Wagner. And he's a Super Bowl champion. He's a leader. He could have got that locker room with Dan Quinn and made a huge difference on that defense. And I don't know. It's like they're delusional. Like they're just saying, like, you know, we like where we're at, and what are you looking at here? Isn't the term? Though they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Exactly. Like right now, if they got them, and like the previous caller said, they're looking at the Eagles, the Redskins. We already know we're better in those teams, and the real reason why is everybody can say what they want about Dak Prescott. I'm a big fan of Dak Prescott. I really am, and I think he just needs to keep having. He's definitely a player that you definitely need to have, you know, people around him and stuff like that. But his record versus the division opponents, forget about it. Yeah. He owns the division. So, but my biggest scare is the Eagles. The Eagles are getting better and better.
Hey, Russ, I was just about to say, listen, I do think, and again, it's hard for me to feel ultra confident to stamp, the Cowboys win a division. You know why, Russ? Because they haven't done that in back-to-back years in the 2000s. So
it's been 18 years. Yeah, 18 years since the East is repeated, and no one's even talking about it.
The Cowboys, and just the Cowboys themselves, they haven't. I don't think they've won back-to-back division championships since the 90s. So, you know, it's hard for me to be like, yep, Cowboys going to win the division. I would say this. I think they're the best team in the division, but think crazier things can happen. But the Eagles, I'm telling you right now, they found a formula last year about being a running team and making things simpler for Hurts. I'm not saying Hurts is this great guy, but if they can get back to, hey, we're going to run the ball 35 times and 12 of those times are going to be with Hurts, he's only going to throw it 16 times. Don't be shocked, you know, if they continue to load up in the draft, they signed pass rusher. Don't be shocked if they win 10 games. They won 9 last year, and make things difficult on you in this division, and make things difficult on you in regards to where you're going to place at in the NFC. So they're the guys I think you should. I won't say worry about, but I think they're going to make it tough.
The only reason why I say that the Eagles is that we have a leg up on them is Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Dak Prescott
on the whole division.
Hurt.
We have a leg up on the whole division because we got the best quarterback in the division.
But I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but awesome show. Just one last thing I'll leave out and let you comment afterwards. So looking at the team right now, what is going to, like, after the draft tomorrow, you're going to say, you know what, this is where we got to go. This is where we got, I mean, position, I know you're going down, like, strength and stuff per position, but what position in the team do you really see, like, saying, this is the way we got to go to make our team better for making a playoff run, or just in general making the team better, more competitive against these great teams, because that's what we got to really be looking at. So, but great show. I'll call in again. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you, Russ. And that is such a fun question. What position, and again, you cannot get everything in round one, but what position do I think the Cowboys need to get to make this team better to compete with the best teams in the league? I love it. I love that question. It's a fun question because it's going to be unconventional answers, maybe answers that aren't sexy, that you're not going to like wide receiver. If you say wide receiver, that's a sexy pick, right? That's not what I'm going to. Defensive tackle, linebacker, offensive guard, right? But guard you can get in day two. But for me, I'm looking at it as if a Devin Lloyd is there, if a Jordan Davis or Devontae Wyatt, based off what he said, right? Like contending and beating top tier teams, playoff teams. The Cowboys been to the playoffs twice now, and under Dak Prescott, 3 times, I'm sorry, but in the last 2 times, and they're giving up over 400 yards rushing in those games. So give me a guy that can help that, hence a DT or a linebacker, right? Trenches. And the reason why I say offensive guard is because on the other side, blocking for said running back or your quarterback helps. So I'm looking in the trenches for tomorrow night. Trenches / front 7. Does that mean if they take the wide receiver, I'm going to be pissed? No. If they take a defense end that falls, am I going to be pissed? No, that's also part of the trenches, technically. But definitely a premier defensive tackle, a premier linebacker, or a premier offensive guard, I think would be the needs for tomorrow, not necessarily what has to happen. Gregory says, stop the damn run. That's what's been killing the Cowboys the last 2 playoffs. CQ said, wide receiver won't matter if Aaron Donald's coming. This is true. Let me, again, I feel like I have to reiterate this a lot, and I'm going to get to you, Los. Cowboys Nation, whatever position is taken tomorrow, I want y'all to take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Woo-sa. Okay? Cowboys can't address everything tomorrow. They cannot do it. Ignore draft grades. I'm just telling y'all right now, we're not doing draft grades here. We got a fun little project that we do after the draft that I think is much better than just A, B, C, D, and that sucked. No. We got a way better project that we'll get to. But, woosah, take a breath. There will be more picks. That's all I'm saying. It's Toxic's like, let's riot. Why is my guy? All right, let's get to Los real quick. What's good, Los?
Good morning, Sky. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Wednesday, man. Happy Wednesday.
Well, let's just say this. Happy Draft Eve.
Oh, man. Yep. Yeah, draft is tomorrow. There's no telling what will happen. Tomorrow, I'm really interested to see how these teams approach this quarterback class. It's not the strongest, in all honesty. And the 2 quarterbacks I would even consider to be having some good traits to build off of is Malik Willis and Matt Corral. So those are just my quarterbacks I would even try to go for. And even this offensive line, because we're not the only team that is trying to revamp their team and have lost key free agents, such as Green Bay losing Devontae Adams, Kansas City losing Kelsey, what's his? My bad.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, Cheetah, and then the list goes on from there,
Yeah.
and I can't get them too off. So I'm really interested if all these teams are going to address their needs, or if they're really going to go for the best player on the board.
You know,
Because yeah, go ahead.
I think it depends on that team, right? Like some teams, I think, have the luxury to say, we'll take the best guy, even if it's a guy at a surplus position. Some teams have that luxury. I joked around yesterday on the volume with Vach. People absolutely hated his mock draft. I thought it was hilarious. The Packers, right? The Packers pick at 22 and 28. I'm the type that says, shit, take 2 wide receivers and let's party. You know what I mean? Like, why not? If you can get a Jamison Williams and a Traylon Burks or a Traylon Burks and an Olave, why not? You know what I mean? That might be a surplus. That might be doing, extra. But I feel like a team like the Packers can afford to do that because the last few years they've given their fan base confidence, and obviously they have Aaron Rodgers, where the decisions they are making are working out. They're getting to the playoffs now. They didn't win a playoff game last year, but they get to the NFC Championship game back-to-back years, and maybe you get 2 young studs and puts them over the hump. But I'm just saying, some teams have that luxury to say, I'm going to take the best guys early in round 1 because we can do it.
Exactly, Sky. And I'm really interested what Detroit is really going to do with the second pick. Because in my mock drafts, I really thought, it just takes 1 pick to affect the draft, right? But I think they have, the 30 pick, and they have, 3 or 4 third-round picks.
Who you talking about,
and
the
if
Chiefs?
I was Detroit.
Detroit.
No, Detroit. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if you're with the second-round pick, no offense to Jared Goff, but, I mean, if you got a chance to pull the plug to get a franchise quarterback, why not take it?
See,
I would really
on who?
I really have them taking Malik Willis.
I don't like this class. I don't like this quarterback class, bro.
I don't either, but I mean, I think
so you would pull the trigger on Malik Willis at number 2, I would imagine, right? You're not getting Malik Willis later, right?
No, and then I'll play him this year, of course. I would build off, and then with the 30th and the rest of the picks, go build on from there because they have the luxury.
Malik Willis gonna go to Detroit and be Rodney Pete, Los. I don't know if you know who Rodney Pete is. Go look him up.
I don't.
Yeah, I know you're a little bit younger, but listen, Malik Willis has ridiculous skills. He's athletic. He's got an arm and things like that. Corral, Pickett. This quarterback class is so mid to me, Los. I would not take a Q at number 2, bro. I would take the best player available at number 2. How about this? Get you a guy that can help. You got Penei Sewell, right, last year, booking that thing. I don't know what their tackles are looking like. I don't. So I don't know who their left tackle is. Penei Sewell at right, get you a left. Now you got bookends to help your quarterback. You know what I mean? And help your run game. Or get you a premier pass rusher. At number 2, that's probably what you're looking at. Those 2 positions, to be honest with you. But that's just me venting on the quarterback class. I don't really like it that much.
Yeah, and then in closing, I'll tell you this. The reason I say sell hard is not because I don't like Zeke, and I love Pollard. Okay. It's just that the run scheme we run, I don't think it fits to Zeke's, strengths anymore. And then with Pollard, it's not. I'm really trying to be realistic here.
Yeah.
You can't always guarantee the success that you once had past you. You would have to prove it again. And will he prove it again? We'll have to see. But
you're talking about Pollard?
Yeah, Pollard as well.
Hey, Los. Pollard been low-key eating since his rookie year, brother. Maybe I'll detail his entire career to date so we can have it tangible. Sometimes some people need to see it. I promise you, Tony Pollard been killing it his whole career. He just ain't been getting the ball enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on that, Sky. It's just, first half of the season, he was like what? Plus carries from Zeke, and then last half of the season, we just went away from that.
They stopped giving him.
And I think,
stop giving him the ball.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
He went from 12 touches to 5, but go ahead.
My three running backs I would choose in the 4th or 5th round pick is just 3. Maybe Brian Robertson, 6'2", Alabama. Isaiah Spiller, 6 feet, Texas A&M. And Hassan Haskins, 6'2", Michigan.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's my list.
I like it. I actually like it. I mean, I feel like if you want to take it back this year, rounds 5 is the sweet spot to do it, because you're not forced to play them. If one of Tony Pollard or Zeke goes down, you feel confident in some fresh young legs picking up the slack. So I'm cool with taking it back on day 3, late day 3, or wait until after the draft. With running backs, for me, you got top 2 guys. You got 2 talented guys. You're good. You don't need to take one early. And then next year would be a different story. So it's a matter of, do you want to prepare for next year, or are you cool with, hey, we can get it back rounds 2, 3, 4 to be our starter next season if we don't bring back Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard?
Now, hey, you know what? We're not even going to have to worry about round 2, not 3 or 4 or 5, because we're getting Jordan Davis at number 24. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, bro.
All right, man. You take care.
I will have a party. My guy. D-Block88 said, all right, Sky, basically take your own advice if we make a whack pick. I didn't say y'all don't have to ride if we make a terrible pick, D-Block. You know me. If you've been watching in 2020 the game day streams, y'all know how my emotions are on my sleeve. If you watched any of our heated debates here, y'all know my emotions are on my sleeve. I'll try to remain professional as possible. But if they get up there and they take a Trevor Penning, man, dog. I don't think I'm a snap. I'm gonna be dejected. That's the word. I'm gonna be dejected. And I'm hearing about trading up for Trevor Penning. My bad, I almost threw up. So I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna relax. But y'all can riot if it's something like that. I'm just saying, if it's a position we take and y'all like, we need line, and we took a wide receiver. What I'm gonna say it like A-Rod. RELAX. Relax. Got day 2. Man, I got my boy Mel Hayes in the building. What up, Mel?
King Sky, there is none higher. What's going on, boss?
I'm good, bro. You ready for this draft tomorrow?
Man, that's what I was calling about, man. I'm really excited, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not draft dude. I tune in to y'all. I'm not big on college football. Kind of like how you say, man. I don't watch 199 players.
I don't either.
You know, like I kind of dive in once they get on the team, and then I kind of tap in, because sometimes I feel like we're looking at a lot of you're looking at 199 guys that's not gonna end up on your squad.
Facts.
So. I'm like, hey, man, let me just see which guys we get, and then, let's start the analysis then. But I'm excited, man, to add some new talent to the team, because we haven't done so thus far.
Facts.
So, I'm really can't wait to see who they get, man. I did want to ask you a question, because you said something earlier that I agree with 100%. Somebody asked you what position do we need in order to start contending? And I agree 100%, man. It's in them trenches, bro. That D tackle position, man, is if we just had like we've had guys there, but I mean like a real guy, just like a hog up there, man. Somebody you really, really had to game plan for. I would just love to see what that looks like with Michael Parsons. I would love to see what that would look like with Michael Parsons, man. But I had a question, bro, because I was listening to some other content creators, and it's some people that's not feeling I think Jordan Davis. I think it's some well-known guys, like well-known prominent content creators that were pretty down on Jordan Davis. They were talking about how he gets taken off the field on third downs, that the film kind of wasn't matching up to a lot of the hype. So I kind of wanted to get your perspective on why maybe some people might be down on Jordan Davis.
I think the number one reason is because of position value. A lot of people do not value a guy like a Jordan Davis because he's not a pass rusher in the league where this is a passing league, if we're being completely honest, right? But I think you have to look at Jordan Davis in a different light. It's a team per team thing. For the Cowboys, Jordan Davis is literally the missing piece defensively. Literally. Like maybe not for the Ravens because they got Michael Pierce, I think it is, and they got my guy that I like, the tall cat from Baltimore, Jacksonville, Campbell and things like that. Maybe not for Baltimore, but for Dallas, they've never had a guy that can do what I believe Jordan Davis will be able to do for your team. So I disagree that the film doesn't match the height. I think what people are looking at, and I had this happen on 153 The Fan. Well, Jordan Davis, he doesn't really get upfield and things like that. I mean, Professor O could attest to this. I don't think his responsibility, no. I know his responsibility wasn't to one gap. It wasn't to penetrate when the ball is snapped and just go. If you look at some of his tape, you'll see him control the line of scrimmage with multiple players and then make a play. That's the type of nose tackle I want. I don't want a Brent Urban from last year. Go watch Brent Urban's film. Brent Urban was just there. He literally was this is no knock. Maybe that's what they asked him to do, just be there. All right, I want a guy that's going to be there and then impact the play as well, right? Whether it's a tackle for loss, whether it's making them redirect. I don't want a guy that's just a part of the accident. I want the motherfucker that's going to cause the accident, straight up. And I think that could be Jordan Davis for the Dallas Cowboys. But I think the number one reason people may not like him is because of what you said. Oh, he's got to come off on pass rushing downs. He's a one tech. He's a nose tackle. This is a passing league. I'm not touching a dude like that. Cool. That's fine. If that's how you feel, I'm not going to be mad at you. But I'm looking at it from a Cowboy standpoint. What's the one position that they are missing a dude at? It's defensive tackle.
D-tackle. Defensive tackle, bro. Defensive tackle.
You got
if
J. Rod?
If there was an NFL comp for Jordan, who would you kind of say that player might be?
I saw this one and I absolutely loved it. It was Haloti Naha.
Ooh.
I love that comp because Haloti was. People forget he was an athletic 340-pound, plugger. He was athletic. He didn't give you 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks, but he can give you 4. And he was stuffing the run. He was gobbling up the double teams. He was keeping guys free as well as causing those accidents. So I really love that comp, Haloti Naha.
Okay.
Ooh, I like Marcus Stroud too. That's a good one.
Okay. So what's going on for Drive Day, man? Where we watching? Where we streaming at?
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up because somebody asked earlier. Boy, I've been moving things around for this. Tomorrow, it'll be myself and Foots the King, another king of this thing here, this Cowboys community. He'll be the draft analyst expert. I believe he is an expert. That's my guy. And I'll be the host tomorrow. We are going to go on after the top 10 picks. So we're going to review the top 10, and then we'll be on all the way through the Cowboys pick. Write that in pencil. I'm so excited. I might just end up doing the whole damn first round. I'll be honest with you. I might do the whole first round. But that's.
And we're going to be on A to Z.
And we're going to be on A to Z. So we'll be here. We'll be on A to Z. There will be literally hundreds of people streaming. So, I ain't mad at you if you're all over the place. But go ahead, come in, check us out. Listen to what we got to say. It'll be fun. Y'all know how we do. We'll have fun on the stream. We'll review the picks. We'll review the top 10. And then once we get to the Cowboys pick, we'll talk about that. You've been a part of the last couple drafts, with the hype and things like that. You know how we get down. So it'll be fun, man.
Man, I'm definitely excited, man. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about who we take, where that person fits into what we're trying to do, whatever it is we are trying to do. But I can't wait to see what get the analysis and get all that good information, bro. But thanks for letting me tap in this morning, brother. And I'll be tuned in tomorrow.
Appreciate you, big homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I keep pushing it up. At first it was, we'll go on like 5 picks before Dallas. Then I was like, nah, let's go on after the top 10. I'll mess around through that whole first round. Even though I said I wasn't. It's just fun. Yeah, so that's just kind of my take on why people are, I don't want to say down on Jordan Davis, but they're like, I don't want a Jordan Davis in round 1 because I can get maybe a Travis Jones in round 2, maybe. But I don't think the one tech spot for a guy like those two is deep. Vince Wilfork is another as a comp. And he way more athletic than Vince, but that's a big boy. I love this one. Y'all talk about John Henderson and Marcus Stroud. Boy, Jacksonville had monsters. Monsters. I think John Henderson was like 6'8". I think Stroud was like 6'6". These boys was 320 plus. Those were just massive dudes in the middle. When I used to play Madden, I used to always trade for them dudes. And sometimes I'd play with the Jaguars because I love their uniforms. But yeah, but anyway, that's just kind of my thoughts on him. His weight issues he actually lost a lot of weight, Keem. Lost a lot of weight. He's down to 340, healthy 340. And that's without having professional guidance for an entire offseason or season. So I think you get him in around, a professional setting. I think he could trim more if you want him to, Looks like people are upset on who called Bohanna a bust. That's David. That is an interesting. Bohanna's a bust. He's a 6th-round pick. Honestly, if we're keeping it 100, if a 6th-round pick gets as much tick as he got last year, and he wasn't some massive liability, I'm not saying he was a plus player. After 1 year, it's hard to say he's a bust. This is a 6th-round pick. Jay Bryant, Jordan Davis elevates us more than other teams. That dude doesn't get moved back. That's how I'm looking at it, Jay. I don't care what the rest of the league. I tried to say this last year about Micah Parsons. I don't care. Don't box him into a position. He's a playmaker. And this was talking about Micah. He'd be a playmaker on this team. He'd be the best linebacker by far. I didn't know he'd be the best linebacker in the league. Best linebacker by far for the Dallas Cowboys that they've had in a long-ass time. But skeezing off, boy, I don't give a damn. He's going to help your defense, right? Here's what's funny to me. And then I'll get to Reek, and then we can end the show. We'll get to the season, and we'll scream and yell and holler. Can't stop the run. Then we'll offer you a guy who can do that at a high level and do other things. Oh, well, Micah Parsons, he's an off-ball linebacker. He's elite at stopping the run, and he can get after the passer if you blitz him. No, we don't want a linebacker. I thought y'all wanted to stop the run. All right, cool, you don't want to stop the run. We still got to stop the run. All right, cool, I'll offer you Jordan Davis, a guy who can help stop the run and free up guys behind you. And if he is in on 2nd and long situations, he can push the pocket, and that helps you third level of the defense. Oh, no. He's just a run stopper. He's just a nose tackle. He's just a defensive tackle. Cowboys Nation, how many goddamn pass rushers do you want on the team till you say, damn it, we need to get guys that can stop the run? When do you want to get guys that can stop the run and be okay with it? And I'm not talking about Brent Urbans. Just get away from the tunnel vision of certain players and kind of put it all together with said team, and I think you'd be able to get behind him. Dro, the Gooner, appreciate the donation.
Super chat.
$5 donation says, if Davis or Dean is available at 24, we have to take them. They are starting quality. Oh, there are starting quality guards in round 2 and 3, i.e. Jamari and Ed Ingram. I agree. I'm not slamming the table for a guard in round 1. Get guards. All right, Reek, man, let me lock this up. Send us out with a bang, Reek. What's goody?
Yo, what's going on, Sky? Cowboy Nation, how y'all doing?
I'm good, man.
We getting ready for this good old draft. You know what I'm saying? Here come our Thanksgiving right now. Early Thanksgiving and Christmas. depending on how we draft. My thing is like this, man. We should not. That's the last thing we should do as a Cowboy Nation is talk junk about run stuffing D tackle and a hard hitting middle linebacker. That's what you need. That's what we've been missing for a long time on this team, man. Man, we need people to push people back into the quarterback's lap. That's how you beat a Tom Brady. That's how you beat an Aaron Rodgers in the playoff game in the clutch. That's how you have teams quit coming into our stadium playoff time, hyped up, ready to run down our damn throats. You know what I'm saying? Bro, everybody got to understand something, man. If you go back and watch our old playoff games, what's the one thing all these teams did? And it's a repetitive circle. Like, it's a repetitive thing. They all ran down our damn throats in the playoffs. Yep. We couldn't stop them. The pass rush didn't matter. That's why people like Randy Gregory was acting goofy last year with the dumbass penalties. That pass rush wouldn't matter.
Randy was slamming.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is for us to be like, people to be like, yeah, we want the flashy pick. We want we want the wide receiver. We want what? Nah, bro. You need people to stop the run. Dan Quinn liked to stop the run. If you ever notice how his teams are built, that middle and them linebackers, they own you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And not every team needs that, right? Like, not every team needs a Jordan Davis. Not every team needs a run stopper up front. If we are being 100% completely honest with ourselves, the only reliable run stopper you have on your front is DeMarcus Lawrence. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at Osa as a run stopper. Nobody looks at Neville as a run stopper. Carlos Watkins, Bohanna is still young, so he got ways to go. You're definitely looking at Dante Fowler that way. Dorrance Arms. Nobody's looking at those dudes as reliable run-stuffing defenders. No, they're not. Terrell Basham, Golston. You hope a Golston, right, becomes that DeMarcus Lawrence light. You hope Bohanna becomes that run-stopping guy. You hope Dorrance Armstrong takes that fifth-year leap. You know, we hope, because that's all we can really live on is the hope creed. Show me proof that we got that type of dude on this team. You don't. You just got D-Law up front. That's all.
Yeah, man, and that's my whole thing. Only thing people got to go back and do is go back and watch those tapes, that them playoff games, or us trying to get into the playoffs. The one thing all these teams did was run the ball on us, and we couldn't stop it. You know what I'm saying? And you want to be successful this next season? Go look at your schedule. We got more running teams that like to run down people's throats than ever last year. We didn't have all these running teams we had to go against last year. All these teams that we're going to have to go against, a lot of these teams we're going against love to run the ball, love to run it. And everybody in the league know what's one of the biggest weaknesses of Dallas Cowboys? Is tackle.
It's consistently stopping the run. I use the term consistently because because people will use the volume stats over the last, going back to was it Marinelli. But if you look at the actual analytics of the yards per carry and where they were getting them, the Cowboys weren't this dominant run-stopping team consistently, right? You'll say, well, Sky, they ranked in the top 10 in yards. Well, that's because the Cowboys were running the ball to the point where other teams weren't getting the rock, right? But when it came down to the nitty-gritty, you saw what the Colts did to you, then the Rams, and then that continued on to the next year, and then the next year, and then the Niners, and that's just been a consistent issue in Dallas, is not being able to nut up when it's time to stop the run. But again, I don't want to harp on this. I'm just giving my take on the whole Jordan Davis thing and getting a player like it.
Yeah, I'm not saying. But you're right though. Remember the Rams game in the playoffs? The Rams game against us in the playoffs. They had the bowling ball. They rolled the bowling ball out of there. He was killing us. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't stop them. We had two running backs that killed us in that game. Come on, bro.
Yeah, and
like,
one
I
of
don't
them
want to see that anymore.
One of them had a knee that was a problem, and all of a sudden he just snapped, and then he was nowhere to be found in the Super Bowl. Talking about Todd
That's
Gurley.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to see that with this team no more. I want to take this team to the next level. The three main positions that I'm looking for, more than a wide receiver, more than an edge rusher, is defensive tackle, offensive lineman to keep people out of Dak's face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I keep people out of Dak's lap. And a middle linebacker that can dominate, that can push. You know what I mean? That's gonna hit a lineman in the mouth off the first impact. You know what I mean? When we're rushing, now we're not getting pushed back. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and another thing, the fourth thing, speed at wide receiver. We need speed. We need punt returners. We need people that can take the top off the damn defense.
Well,
stuff like that. Little dudes that can catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever who can catch the ball and make a move. That's what Dak Prescott like.
They just, there's certain positions and certain traits I don't think they give that care too much about, and speed at receiver is one. And I'm not, again, speed at receiver can be overrated, but it sounds like they love Drake London, so you're not getting speed with a guy like Drake. But that does not mean that Drake London can't be ultra productive.
Yeah, and honestly, Sky, I really don't want them trading up into this draft.
Yeah.
I'd rather them trade back. I'd rather, if the meat of this draft is in between the second round and the third round, don't trade up, trade back. Because if you trade up, it all depends on who you trade up for and how far you go up. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's for Jordan Davis, it's a couple slots up, and we ain't had to give that much up to get him, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just really not trying to trade up and give up a day 2 pick. If it's going to be anything, the most Reek I would give up is a third, and then try to get back into the third. But that's just me.
Shit, I hope somebody dumb enough to get a couple of them fives for us to go. Just saying.
Hey, let me get your 11th overall pick for all these fives. You can have all my fives this year, next year, the 4 for 4s. You can get all that. Nah, I ain't gonna do that, man.
Yeah, man. I just hoping somebody dumb enough to do that. You know, because like you and Vox say, you got teams doing dumb stuff all the time out here in this draft, giving up their value. You know what I mean?
But I tell you this, I ain't got no confidence in the negotiations of one Steven and Jerry when it comes to that. They don't normally get the best, in that situation.
Only thing I've been hoping that's been coming out of their mouth is smoke screens, but I doubt it. Because knowing them, they telling the truth about how they want to do business. I'm like, man, why the hell that's the only thing that kills me sometimes with the Cowboys, man, with the organization. It's just Jerry and Steven. People come out their mouth too damn much about what we want to do and how we gonna do things. I'm like, damn, man. I hope this year, man. Okay.
In closing,
if the coach is gonna lose his job, you know what I'm saying? Let the man cook. Even if y'all buy most of the groceries, at least let him have some pick of the groceries. Let him cook this year. If he has to get on Kellen Moore's behind when he's not doing the right thing or executing the right way, let him cook. Let the man cook. And I just want to see what he can do because, like y'all always said, like we've been saying a long time ago, this dude used to come in here to Green Bay and kick our ass. Why not let this coach go in? If he's going to go out, let him go out on his own terms. And then, you know what I mean? At least do that, man. Quit pigeonholing this dude. Don't pigeonhole this team anymore. Let these dudes do what they got to do, man. I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied.
My man. Appreciate you, Rick.
That's it. That's all, man. All right, man. I'll let you later, man.
Yes,
Peace,
sir.
Cowboy Nation. Let's be patient. We're gonna do it, man. Peace.
Let the coach go out on his own terms. Haven't we heard that before? Jason Garrett. We knew Jason Garrett was in a lame duck year in 2019. He knew it. That's why he said, hey, can I call plays? I'm going to go down. Let me go down my way. I said, no. Kellen's our guy. Do I honestly think that McCarthy is going to be given the keys to the kingdom? No. They might give him a room. They give him a room into the kingdom. And I don't even know how confident I am that Kellen got the keys. Because the more and more I'm thinking, I get in my conspiracy mode. I don't know how I can buy what I saw for 6 weeks and then what I saw the rest of the way. Like, it was 180. I don't know whose call that was. Kellen not dumb. I can't think that Kellen was just like, all that worked. We're not going to do it anymore. Did he? I don't know, man. So my conspiracy hat is on. I try to leave it alone. But I truly don't believe McCarthy is going to have no keys to the kingdom. I feel like he'll get a room. He'll come in that room. And they want him to be more part of it. They want him to coach up Kellen a little bit more. Going into year 3, I mean, these are facts here. He came out and said, I'm hands off. Person that installs it, calls it. Now we want to switch things up and now put more pressure or have more input. It would have been nice if you would have had that chemistry of how to the first 2 years. So in year 3, you're not figuring that out. What you don't want is an Eric Bieniemy, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid situation where, I think they were arguing over not the loudspeaker, in the earpiece, and it was just confusion. I don't think you want that. Stephen White, don't you put that evil on me, sir. He said Rush is the next Kellen Moore. Put that evil on me, sir. Jay Bryant, hey, I would love this not to be Coach McCarthy's last year. We did a show last week where top 5 Cowboys that have the most pressure, and McCarthy was number 1. And I said, of the 5, each 5 had 2 sides to it, right? The good side helps Cowboys, the bad side will not. McCarthy's sides were the most extreme. If Mike McCarthy sticks around, that means that he probably propelled the Cowboys to the NFC title game or the Super Bowl or won it. Or B, didn't do any of those things and he's fired. So, yeah, I mean, I would love for McCarthy to stick around because that means that the Cowboys got better. They won the Super Bowl. They got to it, or NFC Championship game. If not, see ya. See ya. Good stuff today. Let's review the not top 3. Let's review the 3 positions that I talked about here. You guys did great in participating. I appreciate that. Defensive end, there was a mixed bag with that one. I actually sold this one, but I think y'all could talk me into buying it. But I actually sold this being a strength. I think it just kind of remained the same. In a contradictory way, I bought defensive backs being a strength, and that's because of you got Curse, who's the guy now as opposed to a backup. You got Hooker, who's the guy as opposed to just getting his feet wet. Diggs going into his 3rd year, was already an All-Pro. And then obviously I think the rest of the defensive back room, and Donovan Wilson now is your certified 3. The rest of the cornerback depth, I think, is solid enough. I'm pretty high on the defensive backs. So I actually bought that one. And then running backs, I bought as well. That one seemed to be overwhelmingly sell for being a strength. I bought that one, though. So good stuff today. Toxic said, long snapper, strength. Boy, Stephen White, if we go 14-3, let me say this. I don't know how excited I will be at the end of the season. I'll be excited throughout the year because we're going to be week to week even more than ever. I always say week to week league. We'll be week to week, so it'll be fun. The games will be fun. Once we get to the playoffs, man, I ain't saying, man, listen, dog. We'll see. I've been here before. Been 13-3. Been 12-4. Been 12-5. We'll see. I'm not pumping the damn thing up until we win a couple playoff games, man. The older I get, the more I'm like, hey, I'm chilling. We're winning the Super Bowl. I ain't 10 no more. But appreciate y'all. Good stuff. Make sure y'all tune in later to the primetime show with Mauricio Rodriguez. Tomorrow is draft day. Just when you hear this.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in. I'm going to be honest. Tomorrow's show is going to be kind of a wheel out the TV stand class. Put the books down. We're closing it, pencils down. We ain't evaluating no players. We're not putting up no film. It's an October sky type of morning tomorrow. I'm opening up the lines. We might just, I don't know, I might throw in a movie. We're going to do some fun stuff tomorrow. This is going to be about y'all. Call in. I want to know who you think the Cowboys will take at 24. We'll come back Friday, see who was correct. Maybe y'all can give me y'all little version of mock draft, but we are relaxing tomorrow, y'all. I am drafted out in regards to the film study and just research and things like that. Come on in, dress down day. Wheeling out the October Sky movie, and we're going to have some fun. With that said, we out of here, man. We out of here. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't. And share this thing with your friends, families, and foes. Make sure you have a good hump day today. Be good, be nice, be kind. Later tonight, tune into my guy Mo. And hit up A to Z SportsDallas.com for all of your Cowboys needs. Love y'all. Have a good one. We out. Peace.
Get your damn act together.